In the first 19 games of this season, DeAndre Ayton shocked everyone. The Lakers started 15-4, Ayton was giving them 16 points a night, and for a moment, the DeAndre Ayton move looked perfect. But then, everything flipped. The Lakers have fallen in the standings. Ayton's minutes have been cut dramatically, and now DeAndre Ayton is the perfect example of what happens when you bet on talent but don't consider one thing: consistency. This season, Ayton has scored 20 or more points in 10 games, but he's also scored 10 or less points in 17 games. LeBron has caught his own share of heat this season, but let's look at the death stare he's giving Ayton on the bench against the Kings. Why the long face? Just watch these defensive plays where we see Ayton just let players walk to the basket and score versus him, where he lets DeMar DeRozan shoot a fadeaway right in his face and makes the interesting decision not to jump, where Ayton just looks like he does not care about basketball. On paper, DeAndre Ayton should be a perfect fit for this team. He is a former #1 pick from the same draft as Luka, who should be in his prime at the age of 27. DeAndre had a 43.5-inch vertical leap headed into the draft. In his second season, he averaged 18.2 points, 11.5 rebounds, and 1.5 blocks a game. Many saw him as a future multiple-time All-Star, and with the God-given talent he does have, he should be the Lakers' dream center. But there is a reason the Blazers are paying $35.5 million for Ayton not to play for them. The Suns learned the hard way, so did the Blazers, and now so are the Lakers. Stats are an illusion when you are this absurdly inconsistent. Sure, Ayton is averaging 13.4 points and 8.4 rebounds a game, which are actually good numbers for a role player, especially one who was only paid $8.1 million. But what happens when a role player refuses to accept his own role? Well, we can see the results against the Knicks, where Ayton took only 6 shots. Let's watch as Ayton's feet are glued to the floor as he watches a handoff and easy Knicks dunk. Then down 1 point in the third, we see DeAndre not even jump for a rebound as the Knicks grab it instead and score. Fast forward, we have Cat of all people blowing by DeAndre for an easy basket with 0 dribble moves. And then on offense, here is Ayton getting boxed out by Jalen Brunson. I think Harry Potter's shock sums up what we're all thinking. Why is this man putting in absolutely 0 effort? And again, Ayton began this season strong, averaging 16 points per game. But since then, he's averaging just 11.8 points per game. However, it's also here where we do have an interesting twist. Due to his lack of touches, DeAndre made himself a semi-villain when he declared,
bigs can't feed themselves, and, I just try my best to do what I can, to bring effort.
But was there truth there? Because when DeAndre takes at least 10 shots this season, the Lakers are 15-2. That is a championship winning pace that we just cannot ignore. So are there actually shades of gray as to who is to blame here? Well, the problem isn't what Ayton does when he gets those shots. We know he has that talent. The problem is how he plays when he doesn't get them. As we know, DeAndre was not signed to be the focal point of this team. They have Luka, they have Austin Reeves, they have LeBron, but it's here where DeAndre fooled the Lakers. This summer, he directly told us and the media that he knew he was a role player and that he needs to, quote, trust those playmakers, and if you get more than 2 shots, then that's how the game's supposed to go. He was saying he learned his lesson, that he was here just to win a championship, but it is obvious that when Ayton does not get the ball, he not only lets it get to him, he stops caring. He jogs back on defense and on offense. He doesn't fight for rebounds. He lets guards just score at the basket with ease. He pouts. He puts in no effort. This is simply just not a recipe for winning basketball. Listen to this. When Luka and Jackson Hayes, who is less talented than Ayton, are on the court together as a 2-man group, they outscore opponents by 2.2 points. When Luka and Ayton are playing together, what should be a no-brainer pick-and-roll duo is actually outscored by 8 points. And overall, Luka has a box score plus-minus of plus 8.1, while Ayton is sitting at minus 0.9. The team is worse when he's on the court. Why? It might just be, okay, it actually probably is the case where DeAndre Ayton views himself as a star and now acts like a diva sometimes. According to a report last summer, the Blazers could live with Ayton missing shots and even him not trying his hardest on the court. However, quote, in the end, they couldn't live with his bad ways. The tardiness to team flights and practices. The skipping of rehabilitation appointments. Fans saw him slam chairs when he was taken out of games, and a team source said there were tantrums in the locker room when he was sidelined deadline for poor effort. Ayton's time with the Blazers should have been the ultimate warning. I mean, back in January of 2024, he quite literally missed a game as, quote, Ayton tried for hours to combat the sheet of ice heading out of his neighborhood. Did not play due to ice? No one could just drive him? The Lakers have learned the hard way. Sometimes talent is a mirage. If they had waited to find a more dependable defensive center during this year's trade deadline, or maybe if they just kept Mark Williams, they'd be in a much better spot. But now they have to gamble that Ayton will somehow become reliable in the playoffs. And it's here where things get even worse, because listen to what Kendrick Perkins has to say about DeAndre.
But I will say this about DeAndre Ayton. The Portland Trailblazers were happy as hell that they got to this point with him. Right now, he's been labeled as a diva, as a cancer in the locker room. He has to change a lot about himself, or he will find his career being shortened and he will find himself out of the league.
And this has been a pattern for his entire NBA life. Let's remember this moment from DeAndre Ayton's days on the Suns. Here we see him just not play offense. Instead, he just stands on the other side of the court, and so Kevin Durant and Devin Booker let him have it. What was Ayton's response? He went and sat by himself on the bench. Now, what's really awful here is we are watching in real time a man just not get the most out of his potential. The Lakers are 15-2 when Ayton takes more than 10 shots for a reason. When he's locked in, he does have the upper end talent that you just can't teach. He's shooting 67.6% from the field, and at the rim, he's shooting almost 82%. But he's also been soft, and Lakers fans can't stand him. The formula for the Lakers should be a simple one. You give the ball to Luka, you surround Luka with shooters and a center who is both a lob threat and a defensive anchor. Ayton has one of the easiest jobs in the NBA, but yet again, he can't make it work. From Reddit, you know how effing embarrassing it is for Ayton that we spent the entire second half of last season joking and complaining about the center situation being so bad that we had to start Hayes, and that we spent all offseason saying literally anybody would be better, only for us to get here and be effing begging to put Hayes back in. Yes, last year in the playoffs, JJ thought Jackson Hayes was playing so badly that he benched him. Hayes played only 7.8 minutes a game in the first 4 games against the Timberwolves, and then in game 5, he didn't play a single second in a series-ending loss. So the Lakers brought in DeAndre Ayton thinking, surely this must be an improvement, but now they are locked into his attitude. They are locked into whatever he gives them. They are stuck hoping that DeAndre becomes the player that he said he was going to become. But the only evidence we have seen so far is more inconsistency and that he's stuck in his ways. And if DeAndre cannot turn things around with the Lakers with Luka, it is unlikely he's going to do that anywhere. And it's also unfortunate that the Lakers are learning this lesson at the worst possible time. And there we have it. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, I really think you're going to like this video on recent trades that backfired completely. You're not going to want to miss it if you're already subscribed. Thank you so much for supporting. You are awesome. We all know it. And as always, have an awesome day and cue that music.